Joining me this evening and everyone who watches after the broadcast. I do appreciate it. Ilhan, favorites, I'm sure. We'll go over that. What's going on with her? We get don't forget we got Rashida Tlaib too. We'll be hearing about them too. So anyway, a lot going on. Pakistan is making a trip to Tehran. So somebody's talking. Somebody's going to cut a deal, it looks like. But anyway, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. We're going to get into it. But what do? I play videos. Give people a chance to settle in, get themselves a nice cup of coffee, a cold brouhaha, or an adult beverage of their choice. And then what shall we do? Once we do that, we will be like butter and get on a roll.
An 82% miscarriage rate with women who got the injection in the first, second trimester. I mean, that is shocking. And they knew it. They knew it. They're not that stupid. They're just that devious.
Dust on my Bible, flags on the line. You laughed at our warnings, called truth a crime. You sold us your secret, signed all our futures with a poison note. You sat in your mansions, we prayed in the rain. You cast every favor on a ledger of pain. You thought you were covered, names on a list, private plain pages you swore don't exist. Tick-tock, time's up, game over, you're done. Thought you hid in the shadows, but we watched every run. You sold out your own people, every promise a lie. Now the truth hits different with the world looking right in your eyes. Tick-tock, time's up, game over, you lose. Treason don't pay well when the light cuts through. God on our side and he's right on time. When the judge walks in, every bell gon' chime. Game over. You was two, shook hands in the back room, said they'll never break through. You mocked every farmer, every steel-toed boo, called them crazy and bitter while you buried the proof. Now screens start flashing, whole names, young kids, whole world scrolling through the things y'all did. Digital soldiers from the cornfields to Rome say leave our children alone or we're taking you home. Let's go! Tick-tock, time's up, game over, you're done. Thought you hid in the shadows, but we watched every run. You sold out your own people, every promise a lie. Now the truth hits different with the world looking right in your eyes. Tick-tock, time's up, game over, you lose. Treason don't pay well when the light cuts through. God on our side and he's right on time. When the judge walks in, every bell gon' chime. Game over. From the back roads to the big tall towers, patriots worldwide, this the final hour. You can beg, you can bargain, you can scream, you can hide, but the book's been written and your name's inside. Tick-tock, time's up, game over, you're done. Thought you hid in the shadows, but we watched every run. You sold out your own people, every promise a lie. Now the truth hits different with the world looking right in your eyes. Tick-tock, time's up, game over, you lose. Treason don't pay well when the light cuts through. God on our side and he's right on time. Nothing's gonna stop what's already signed. Game over.
Storm zone.
Yes, sir.
I'm wondering what storm they're talking about. They have unsuccessfully tried to take down the wrong person.
He's absolutely going to come back with full vengeance the next time around.
I think about what 4 years of a retribution presidency might look like. Our Constitution really does give the president tremendous power to destroy.
close political allies told him they are working on figuring out the identities of the FBI and DOJ staff and forming lists.
I will direct a completely overhauled DOJ to investigate every radical DA and AG in America for their illegal, racist enforcement of the law. The deep state is destroying our nation, but the tables must turn, and we will quickly destroy the deep state. We know where the bodies are buried. There are a lot of people out there that have done some very, very evil things, very bad things, I would say treasonous things against our country. People that have done such harm to our country. I've been looking at them for a long time.
He could order the investigation and prosecution of individuals who he perceives as enemies.
Put them all in jail where they belong. You gotta get tough and smart, and you have to fight fire with fire. You can't allow this to go on. And I will be the one to clean it up. I am your retribution. We will take care of it. We will take care of it.
Yes, indeed. Hi, folks. Thank you for joining me, and I hope my voice is coming through. Here, Ilhan Omar. So I decided to use my little cell phone picture of Trump with 9/11. Remember? That was the day some people did something. Some people did something on 9/11. So I don't know. Trump put out a truth concerning her, and we'll get into that along with other stuff. I didn't get into the other night, but it all fits in. And for people that think this is political, okay, God bless you. Have a good life. No, it's spiritual. We know it is. Even if it's dealt with humor here, we're seeing stuff that civilizations haven't seen. A disregard for life, human life, and basic justice at a scale we've not seen since, I don't know, the Canaanites, Lindsey Clancy supporters erect a 40-foot bronze altar to Moloch outside the courthouse. There you go. There they are. Having a good old time. It's, said tongue-in-cheek. Who is it? By dailysoak.com. Tongue-in-cheek, but it is indeed spiritual, and we know it. We know it. Let me see who all's come in to see me tonight. Ha, ha, ha. Let's see what's going on. We got Todd's here. Darla's here. Roberto. Sissy. Nice to see you. Belinda. Sherry. Wayne's here. Give me a thumbs up. Thank you, Wayne, for going by me a coffee this evening, along with Robin. Well, I do appreciate it. I gotta see where's Roland at. So we got Robert here. All right, Tammy's here. Thank you, Tammy, for stopping by to see me and helping out with buy me a coffee. All right, let's see. Who am I missing? I keep scrolling down the line. Jerry's here, and if I miss anyone, I do apologize. Robert's here. Let's see. Jerry. Randy, nice to see you, buddy. I hope you're doing well. Cole's here. The Ying Tadhammy's Yang, whatever that is. Ha, ha, ha. So, Flannel Cheese is here. Pappy Two Bears is here. All right. Roland, there you are, Roland. Thank you for going by my coffee. Straight from Alberta, you got that in before it got tariffed. I wonder how I'm going to find out how Alberta coffee tastes, right, Roland? But anyway, so I meant to mention that too. Canada having a hissy fit. I was going to put hissy fit in the title, but I decided not to. How long do you think that's going to last with Canada? I got, how come I got something that says 0 as far as playtime on a video? Oh, I don't know. So anyway, all my lurkers, I got to remember to say hi to all my lurkers. And if I get this up to Rumble, don't forget to hit the thumbs up over on Rumble if you're not following either one on YouTube or Rumble. Why don't you go ahead and do that? It helps the video get around. Thumbs ups and subscribe or follow or whatever the heck's going on. But anyway, they're using the bee jabbers out of this picture right here. I guess it's the only screenshot freeze frame of a video where they can make Carney look like he's telling off Trump. See, Trump's listening. He's probably looking, wondering why you got the ketchup on your tie. But they make it look like here they go. Here's another one. That one's Telegraph. This one is APT. And I could have took other screenshots. They're just going to dog ear this picture like they do that 40-year-old picture of Trump with Epstein. They keep passing around. Look at this. So anyway, so they're making it seem like, oh, Canada's really going to get America now. Yeah, we've had enough that Donald Trump. Yeah, we'll do reciprocal tariffs. How long do you think that's going to last? The U.S.-Canada trade dispute is escalating again. The United States has imposed 50% tariffs on about $20 billion worth of Canadian products. That's the whole damn budget, isn't it? Prompting Prime Minister Mark Carney to announce a dollar-for-dollar retaliatory response beginning September 8th. Oh, okay. Why wait? Why wait? Canada's measures are expected to target U.S. steel, dairy, appliances, agriculture, pulp and paper, and electronics. Oh, you mean what you've been doing for decades? Before Trump called you out? Carney said Canada had offered concessions, including dropping some existing retaliatory tariffs, but rejected Washington's final demands. Well, they asked too much and offered too little, Carney said. Well, the collapse in negotiation also raises fresh questions over the future of North Korean trade agreement between the U.S., Canada, and Mexico. Well, we can just do the USM trade deal, okay? How about that? Just knock the C off of it. And, it's so unfair. And we have viewers from Canada, they're good friends of ours, right, Roland? And, their currency is stifled. They don't have a free economy. They have more of a socialist system than they're trying to put in our country. The incentives are practically non-existent, and it's got a cloud over it anyway. The economy. It's not the land of opportunity. Why do we end up with so many Canadians, great Canadians, stars and all kinds of people that end up in America? And, I've named them off before. I mean, William Shatner and Alex Trebek and on down the line. It's just not a fireball of a place to be at anyway. And they're hobbling them because they don't get choice. They don't get competition in things like beef, dairy, steel, all these things. They're locked into a economy that's predetermined for them. It's very socialist. So it's not going to last long. They'll be back at the table. Trump might have given a little something for them to save face. But it's like Trump put out in his post. They want all the benefits of a state without being a state. Here's another report. Here's Carney. Midas trash. The anti-American at Midas Trash. I call it a malicious touch network. Malicious touch. Because they blocked my comments, but I thought maybe they'd leave one up where I call them malicious touch. It's Saturday, and Canada just walked away from Trump as his crises pile up. U.S. casualties in the Iran war were quietly updated. Iran says weapons production is surging. Okay. Qatar is getting hammered. Putin is digging in, and much more. Your midday update. Oh, you're so positive. You're so pro-American. You're so patriotic. What a bunch, in my opinion, what a bunch of trash. What a bag of trash. Here we are again. Who's this now? Oh, this is the photo. After months of trying to appease Donald Trump, Mark Carney has instead opted to defy the U.S. president, walking away from trade talks to do its worst. The Canadian Prime Minister is taking a considerable gamble. You better believe he is. I wonder if they tankers of what do you call it? Natural gas. Okay, overseas to China. Even showed the route. The Canadian Prime Minister is taking a considerable gamble. You better believe it. He just invited an all-out trade war with the world's biggest economy, but he has also written a template for resistance that European leaders, fearing they will be next in Mr. Trump's sight. It's President Trump, boneheads, will be studying closely. Yeah, study closely. Watch what happens to Carney. Study it. Study it till your eyeballs fall out of your head. Here is just another article on it. Oh, speaking of making comments on UTISL. After prison release, Tina Peters takes her election conspiracy roadshow to Washington. So who is treating Tina Peters in this way? What news agency do you think is doing this? Calling it a roadshow, conspiracy, after everything we've been putting out. Donald Trump put out about a month and a half ago extended videos about Dominion machines and proof, okay, of Venezuela's involvement, other countries' involvement, and investigations and seized ballots and FBI investigations. But who do you think is doing? And making fun of her, taking her road show after she spent time in prison as part of this cover-up. I'll show you who's doing it. Oh, CNN, can you believe that? They're calling it all conspiracy theory in the roadshow. 2 months into her post-prison life, election denier Tina Peterson traveled to Washington for high-level meetings this week. Okay, starting tomorrow, with Trump administration officials pitching her plan to invoke emergency powers and assert unprecedented federal control over elections before the November midterms. They didn't put that in the headline. They called it a roadshow and a conspiracy theory. Oh, no, they're going to get it on brass tacks. What the Constitution says, what's available to us at law. And like I said, Trump's raising the hammer. He's got it raised. So here, these people can't be real. In these comments, and the circus goes on with the clowns fully in charge. They need to recall the governor who let her out. The good old "it's rigged unless we win" strategy. It's going to take decades to undo the blah, blah, blah. But maybe there are people that lost in their brains. I don't know. We'll find out when we get free and fair elections. Sparky, how you doing? Miss Menderson, nice to see you. Who else I miss? Oh yeah, EU's gonna. Hi, Candace Cleanup, how you doing? Melinda says my brother, or ex-brother-in-law. Okay, well, wait a minute. What happened? I jumped around on me. I saw the word, Canadian. Oh, I thought it said candidate. My niece. Oh, okay, so you got a lot of ties to Canada. Oh, yeah, you're right, Roland. She should get millions. Well, life ain't over yet. I'm sure they're going to do something. So, anyway, we've got, here's where I got that thumbnail picture from, right here. Donald Trump posted this article. I couldn't fit the bones of the article in. I had to cut off where Donald Trump had his True Social. But believe me, he posted this article. ICE refuses to disclose records on Ilhan Omar ongoing enforcement proceedings. It's all in the family. The agency claims that releasing documents related to an investigation into the lawmakers' alleged immigration fraud would, under the law, interfere with enforcement proceedings. Something could happen to her any day. Any day. But optics are important. Timing is everything. You know, we don't want the something they could twist into being a unjust retaliatory action. Like I said, I think after the polls close, okay, is when some hammers are going to drop. There's going to be multiple hammers. Tina Peterson going up there just for a show, okay? And this Trump didn't post this not for nothing. And that's how many things have we got going on, folks? How many things? CIA officials are getting subpoenaed over the pipe BOMBER from J6, right? We got FBI officials being investigated. They're going to be getting subpoenaed over the Mar-a-Lago raid. We had Trump posts about Alexander Vindman. He should be prosecuted. Now, he just lost his bid to be an elected official. We got Fauci with the legal fund and criminal referrals. And multiple states want his hide. You know that video I played of Carolyn Levitt with the young lady they claim is too enamored with Trump? I played it my last broadcast. I did a typical analytical error where I was watching the behavior and listening to the words more intently of the person the media was picking on. And instead of listening to Carolyn Levitt. And I re-listened, and it dawned on me that Carolyn Levitt was running for office before she became press secretary. What state was she running for office in, folks? Carolyn Levitt. Do you all remember? I'm going to make a point. Now, what's that girl's name? Harp. Her name is Harp. The one they keep talking about is effusive over Trump, like trying to insinuate an affair, I guess, or something nefarious. So Trump posted that video of this young lady, Ms. Harp, talking with Carolyn Levitt. And I'm saying, oh, well, I'll play that and I'll see if I get any clues and focus on her behavior. Well, after I watched it the second time, I said, aha, now I know why Donald Trump is posting that. Randy got it, New Hampshire. Yeah, Miss Mendersu got it. Flannel Cheese got it. Pappy Two Bears, all right. And Carolyn Levitt was saying voter fraud. Of a notion that she's going to win. She didn't know she'd be press secretary then, of course. And she was saying that they were never going to let go of the 2020 election and that they're going to go forward with investigations on it. So you couple that with what I have just been enumerating, along with Keith Ellison and Tim Walsh being looked at for the Chauvin prosecution and other crimes, rampant fraud. You got Scott Bessent describing how George Soros participated in financial warfare against the American people by actually crashing our stock market on purpose the day Trump was elected, the night. You got Fulton County having ballots seized, and you pulled every trick in the book to try to get it back, and they've been rebuffed every time. And we were over that to expect those $16.7 million fines and ongoing investigations of their behavior. You got New Jersey admitting to illegals actually voting and refusing to turn over the list and then caving and turning the list over, the voter rolls. You got Jocelyn Benson in Michigan. We discussed the last broadcast where evidence is being discussed where she facilitated putting illegals on the voter rolls and also having meetings with Southern Poverty Law Center where their leaders been arrested, indicted for conspiracy. You have Comey trying to get out of his troubles. In North Carolina, you're not in the Magic Kingdom anymore, Mr. Comey, for a very serious accusation about inciting violence against the President of the United States. I heard a report about Andy McCabe. Andrew McCabe, remember him? If I go down, I'm taking everybody with me. Is there a grand jury concerning his actions along with others? You have the Swalwell raid. Eric Swalwell leaving office. When did these creatures ever let go of their power? Never. Michael Cohen doing a double backflip out the side door, opening I don't know how many people up to possible prosecution. You got Letitia James, who was given a temporary reprieve by a questionable judge. I read just the other night, claiming the prosecutor was invalid, not appointed properly. That doesn't make the charges go away. Oh, and Don Lemon, he's still going to trial. And the judge has made it very clear there's no special exemptions for journalists to disrupt religious proceedings or events. So I'm sure there's more, a lot more that we've talked about, but it's just so numerous. And there's stuff behind the scenes that we don't know about that's happening. Things are moving along, in my mind, very nicely. And what do they try to throw out? The affordability crisis. They're trying to act like we're not as commie as you think. Here's a betting market on Gavin Newsom said, Canada was our friends. This is no way to treat your friends. What the F are we doing? Or something like that. Where is it? And I put in the comments, we can't afford them as friends. Remember that story I told a long time ago? Guy was at a party. He said, I can't afford you as a friend. Here they are. Crooks picked up the CNN ball and ran with it about that young lady. All the things that most Americans, most MAGA people, most Trump aides' old posts expose extraordinary devotion. Trying to stir up something. A CNN review. CNN taking their time to worry about these posts. Found that Natalie Harp, now senior White House aide to Donald Trump, posted more than 150 messages on X on 6 January 2021, urging Republicans to fight for Trump. False claims the presidential election has been stolen. They're still hanging their hat on that, when we know damn good and well it was. And the president of the United States has repeated it multiple times. Harp amplified rhetoric from Trump allies challenging Joe Biden's victory. Yeah, 81 million vote Biden, right? Her account now appears suspended, although it's unclear when or why it was removed. The findings highlight Harp's long-standing political loyalty to Trump. So, I've been loyal to him for a long time, too. I know the election's been stolen, too. And I say fight for Trump, fight for Trump. That doesn't mean fight for your God. It means fight for your country, too. But that doesn't mean we play footsies or anything. But now, here you go. Here, look at this stupid grin on this guy's face. As country folks, we refer to that as I don't want to be crude, but a SH and that's it. Eat and grin. Okay? When you got to eat, you know what, and grin. This guy is saying that the Democrat Party is a big tent, and the more the merrier, trying to act like he's happy about the victories of El Sayed and this Nixon woman, communist. It's all good. See that grin?
Will the socialism label pose larger challenges for general election campaigning in Florida, or has Angie Nixon proved that, hey, her grassroots base is active, it's engaged, it's large enough for November?
Well, clearly, she showed that she could win. And that's what matters the most. At the end of the day for us, as much as the Republicans are going to try to make a big deal out of this, I've always said there's more that unites us in this party than those differences. And yes, we are a big tent party. We have conservative Democrats, we have centrists, we have progressives, and we have leftists. And as far as I'm concerned, all are welcome. As I've always said, you win through addition, not through subtraction. You win by growing your coalition, not shrinking.
We have conservative Democrats and we have leftists and we have traditional Americans and we have communists. We all get along. The main thing is to win. No, the main thing is not to have commies, okay? The main thing is not to have people who hate our country involved. But, he had that grin on his face, trying to make the best out of it. Did y'all get to watch the Grand Prix racing? Mac, how you doing? That's right. I don't, speaking of Gavin Newsom, if this was a Republican Party doing this to a Democrat activist, passing a bill with a Democrat activist's name on it. It was a Republican governor doing that. You'd never hear the end of it. But this is the law against Nick Shirley, uncovering fraud. A 23-year-old. The legislator had to take specific action against this young man by name.
Very interesting connections. With her husband being the Attorney General of California, their goal as a family should be to prosecute and take care and make sure that there is so little fraud in the state that they can have such a peaceful night of sleep. However, while the Attorney General is supposed to be prosecuting fraud, his wife is creating laws to let fraud continue. They're specifically saying that NGOs who receive money based off immigrant services don't have to disclose their money. And so we know that they use those services to commit fraud.
Yeah. So, you would never hear the end of it. You would never hear the end of it if a Republican had done that to a Democrat. And I agree, Todd. Raging Americans put this up, just like you're saying. Democrats supporting Rogers. Whoa, Democrat State Representative Karen Whitsett flips sides, joins Democrats for Mike Rogers against Abdul Rahman Mohammed El Sayed. Michigan does not want radicals like Abdul in the U.S. Senate. I thought he had Hussein in there somewhere, but I don't know. That might be his nickname. I don't know. But anyway, they're jumping ship. And this was an interesting one that popped up. Person. Y'all know who this is? See, stuff that we don't know about. We hadn't heard about, not being broadcast. Ex-Abercrombie and Fitch CEO is mentally fit for S3X trafficking trial, judge rules. Oh, another billionaire? Abercrombie and Fitch, the whatever he is, CEO or whatever, is mentally competent to stand trial as he faces sex trafficking charges after being hospitalized for months for dementia and Alzheimer symptoms. So what you get better from that? or you just don't know how to fake it long enough. You got to spend months going when you're normal. I don't know. I'm just asking. You could, but I have never seen anybody have dementia and Alzheimer's symptoms, go to the hospital for months, and then come out okay. All right. I've known it in every case to be degenerative. They can slow it, but they can't stop it yet. The federal judge on Long Island, New York, said she reviewed testimony and written reports from medical experts and listened to hours of phone calls Michael Jeffries made to his romantic partner, lawyers, and others while in shrinks going and then getting on the phone. What am I getting out of here? So I don't know, but there's something else that people aren't reporting. And we talked about this a year ago. And I joked around and said Archie Bunker would call them your regular gays, right? Your regulars. Log cabin Republicans, no more trans advocacy. Log cabin shift. I don't think they shifted. I just don't think it's been reported. Log cabin Republicans, a national group of gay conservatives, said would no longer support transgender issues, declaring itself an LGBT advocacy organization. Oh, they're only down to 3 letters. But they make it seem a monolith. All the letters and the pluses and whatever names they can squeeze in there is monolithic. I've got a post that those dimwits. Here. Look what they're celebrating. I think this is Occupied Demon Rats. They're in the top 3, okay, of counter anti-American posters on the internet. They think this is a good thing. Holy smokes. U.S. District Judge Loretta Prescott. I have not heard that name. I don't know what her pedigree is or her predilections. But anyway, has just ruled that the late Virginia Giuffre 2015 lawsuit against Ghislaine Maxwell can be unsealed. The federal judge has ordered the public release of the files from Virginia's defamation case against Ghislaine Maxwell. Hit the like button to thank the judge. They think, we'll get something on Trump. Oh, it's part of the Epstein files. This is great. I'm more inclined to think that this is going to be very damaging to the left. And I think it's going to bolster the fact that Donald Trump is the reason they were jailed and that he was innocent. And he actually was the impetus for having them investigated and arrested. Remember the CUE post concerning Virginia Giuffre, where they said, we're praying for you. So anyway, let the left celebrate. Oh, and remember that post I put up? I said, why are they all of a sudden picking on Hegseth's wife? Pete Hegseth's wife, remember? Out of the blue, they're saying, well, she's giving undue influence to her husband. Like it's any of their damn business what a husband and wife talks about. Well, sure enough, here's what came up in my notifications today. CNN. Pentagon fires Stars and Stripes leaders amid Hegseth pressure campaign. So I was thinking, now who would come up with some kind of hit piece on Hanks' wife? Oh, well, let me tell you something. The way things operate, they don't just show up and fire you. You get a little heads up, a week or month or whatever they tell you, things ain't working out. You better get your head and your rear end wired right or things are not going to work out. You get a feel. And they were trying to put something out to head it off. But in a blow to press freedoms within the U.S. military, the Pentagon has forced out several top staffers at the Stars and Stripes, the military publication with a long record of editorial independence. I'd like to see some of the articles that they wrote, or edited, or approved. I'd like to see how they got hired. I'd like to see their pedigree. Because he didn't fire them not for nothing. Here's somebody else, a prominent so-called mover and shaker that's on her way out. And what's going to happen with her? And what's going to happen with the whole damn bunch? The National Education Association or whatever she's in charge of, Randy Weingarten. Here she is. Exhorting teachers to be anti-ICE. Exhorting teachers to resist federal law enforcement and harass them. Watch.
It's Randy Weingarten again, president of the AFT, with another weekly update. Students, families, and educators across the country are busy getting ready for the new school year. In fact, many are already in their new school year. And this week, the AFT launched a nationwide campaign to urge people to shop at retailers other than Target for their back-to-school supplies and back-to-school clothes. Target's corporate headquarters are in Minneapolis, where ICE's cruel and illegal immigration tactics have left vulnerable communities, including countless children, in a permanent state of fear. Target could have used its considerable clout to demand an end to these inhumane tactics, but it has remained silent as ICE's terror and brutality campaign has spread across the country. You can go to the campaign website, shopsmart.aft.org, give your zip code, and you'll get map results of community-friendly back-to-school shopping alternatives near you, including unionized businesses with price points that are comparable to Target's. Again, that website is shopsmart.aft.org.
ICE's illegal activities and boycott Target. Good. They need to get one upside their head for their past actions. I'll never set foot in a Target unless if I can next to steal it, I'll do it. Yeah, I'll never go to Target. Target was putting up all that rainbow stuff for kids and worse than rainbow, right? Where is that damn? Here it is with Occupy Demon Rats, and I'm sorry about the language, but it's Gavin Newsom talking about Canada. Canada was the United States' friend. Trump is now unfriending them with tariffs. No, we're tired. And this is Robert K. Okay, he posts. I think he's the same guy that posts on Midas Trash Network, also known as Malicious Touch Network. Robert Cakers. How much you want to bet? I think so. Our closest ally, our critical trading partner, they're critical us. And Trump is hitting Canada with 50% tariffs. what the actual F are we doing? That's where I put in there, we can't afford you as a friend. That's Brian Tyler Cohen reposted that. And somebody put in there, that's a brain dead comment. Or just said, a brain dead comment. And I said, take an aspirin. Your brain's dead, take an aspirin. Maybe that'll help. Probably won't, but anyway. I got a poll. Another, what do you call it? Betting odds? Democrats, I'm going to say they're in trouble, but I don't want people to get their guard down and relax. We gotta fight. No matter what the polls say or the betting odds say. But look at this. This is for Democrat presidential nominee. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, 21%. John Ossoff, I wouldn't even know his face if you just put a picture of his face up. I wouldn't know who that is. 18%. Gavin Newsom, 15%. Gavin Newsom is the green line. Look how he fell like a rock. Are they missing somebody? I mean, 21 plus 15 is 36, plus 18, 46. They're only showing, I guess they're severely fractured with a bunch of other Pete Booty Butt and who the hell knows. But right now, they're essentially leadership. Yeah, here he is, Pete Booty Butt. Pete Buttigieg returns to first in the nation, South Carolina, with fresh appeal to black voters. Didn't they switch that around from Iowa? They got rid of Iowa, shoved them out of the picture just to make themselves look better. His trip to South Carolina, Pete Buttigieg, first since leaving the Biden administration, marked the beginning of a new phase of political maneuvering ahead of the next presidential election, with Buttigieg making a concerted effort to get in front of black voters and demonstrating new bona fides from his transportation secretary tenure. I guess I'll have to find that meme where he's got the fake apparatus to nurse a baby. That's the best way I could put it, I guess. So, yeah, nobody's showing up to, here's a discussion about Canada. Do you think September 8th that there's going to be retaliatory, or is this all theater? It's all going to get worked out before then.
Tariffs on some Canadian goods went into effect overnight after last-minute negotiations stalled. President Trump sounding off.
We imposed historic tariffs on foreign goods. The tariffs were making a fortune with tariffs. And what it's really doing, even more than that, all these companies are now coming and building in the United States. $19.2 trillion is being invested right now in the United States. More than any country at any time.
It's developing rapidly, and now Canada is firing back. Alex Hogan has the latest on that and much more live from the White House. Good evening, Alex.
Hi, Molly. Good to be with you. So we know about these trade talks collapsing overnight. Now, the U.S. is imposing these new tariffs on Canada. It is going to be 50% on $20 billion worth of Canadian products. This was earlier today when we heard the Prime Minister of Canada, Mark Carney, speak about all of this, criticizing some of this fallout, saying that he walked away from negotiations because his country simply could not accept this latest deal. Carney says that Canada will match those tariffs dollar for dollar starting on September 8th.
Canadian exports to the United States lower costs for American families. In contrast, tariffs are taxes. Taxes which are ultimately paid by U.S. consumers.
Now, with this fallout and the escalation of the trade war, this is a clear contrast to the words that we heard from the president just last night.
The deal with Canada is moving along, and we should be able to have a deal with Canada. We're also starting on a new deal with Mexico, a much better deal for the United States. I only make good deals. Much better deal for the United States, both with Canada and Mexico.
There you go. He only makes good deals. And, Carney is repeating that falsehood that tariffs equate to a tax on the American people. That's BS. That's pure BS. When I get to it, I'll show you. Walmart got a paid back for tariffs. And I think it was $2.8 billion. And where do most average Americans buy from? Places like Walmart. How much should Trump have to pay back? $168 billion. So if Walmart only got $2.8 billion, it's a very small percentage of items that the average American purchases. And the majority of the tariffs are being collected on people who are shipping goods into our country for free, accessing our markets for free, undercutting our labor market. So anyway, when I get to that, I'll put it up. Let's see. I saw something about something else about Canada. What's this? Now, this is CNN. Canada suspends trade talks with U.S. match, blah, blah, blah. No, there was one that had, I might have already plucked it out of here. Let me see. Canada vowed to match U.S. Tariffs dollar for dollar. Let's see. The breakdown triggered a new wave of tariffs on Canadian goods, including a threatened 50% levy on nearly $20 billion worth of imports. Carney said that despite important progress, the proposed agreement failed to meet Canada's objectives. They're unfair and uneconomic. There's one point that somebody made. I did. Well, you get the overall gist is that Trump is screwing everything up, not them. But then Trump came out with his True Social post that they want to get treated like a state. They want all the benefits of being a part of the United States and not have to pay anything out. Who do you think is going to defend you if the you-know-what hits the fan? Probably had something to do with the Golden Dome. Among other things, kicking in for military support. Things like that people don't factor in. But anyway, what's this one? Oh, here we go. Another judge. Another anti-American judge. How long do you think this is going to be before this gets kicked out? A federal judge in New York vacated a Trump administration policy that suspended processing of visas from 75 countries, including Afghanistan, Iran, Russia, and Somalia, whose nationals to require public assistance in the U.S. Judge is saying we got to bring hard luck cases in here and pay for them for the rest of their lives. That's what the judge is saying. When the State Department determines that they have no resources, no visible means of support, no ability to support themselves, and never will. Those are people that are persona non grata as a matter of long-standing policy and the law. Is the pipeline off the table for now? Which pipeline, Todd? Because Trump posted a meme of him with, oh, you mean with Canada? With Canada. I don't know. Yeah, that's right, Roland. I mean, the currency, I said it earlier in the broadcast, the taxes are high, incentives are low. The Canadian people are really not being treated very well here. You know, I thought that he was playing a game, that he was just trying to, that he was acting like he was against Trump and all this stuff, but that he could have been a backup plan if something happened to Trump. I thought, I didn't think he was a lunatic, but now I think he is, because here he is coming out for Talacaro, okay? The guy in Texas.
James Tallarico, let's go.
Oh, okay. Tell me.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. I'm a huge fan.
I know you are.
I think he's honest. He's trustworthy. He cares. He'll do the right thing as opposed to the politically expedient thing. I think he truly wants to change, bring back reality to politics. And I think he's got a real chance to win.
Yeah, so you really do believe that. I mean, the
Yeah.
polls are pretty good in his favor.
Yeah, and you can't tell on polls anymore.
That's right, you can't.
But he's going into red areas. He's going into red areas and drawing big crowds.
Big crowds. And what would you say to some of those voters who, I mean, first of all, Ken Paxton seems like literally a villain. It's just everything he does seems awful.
Yeah, I'm not a fan. Yeah,
I don't think many people are. But what do you say then to those red voters?
Do what's best for the state of Texas. Do what's best for your wallet. Do what's best for you, right? There's nobody in the same thing. My buddy who voted for Trump in 2016, I say the same thing to all these voters. You've been voting for Republicans all these years. What have they done for you?
In Texas, yeah.
Now it's time for somebody who is going to literally be able to sit with you at the dinner table and discuss your budget and be able to relate to it. And hopefully, with help from folks like me, go talk to grocery stores, go talk to manufacturers, go talk to oil companies, whatever it may be, and come up with some solutions. Really try to change things beyond just legislation.
All right. Tallarico, that's it.
So he's insane. He's not in touch with the real world. Tallarico. You could sit with him at your dinner table. I don't want that thing in my house. A degenerate. A COMMIE, right? I don't want that in my house. You have lunch with him. What did... I gotta find it. Elon Musk put up some stuff about, here it is. I was going to show this the other night. Mark Cuban, here he is. Mark Cuban, James Talacaro, let's go. I'm a big fan. He's honest, trustworthy, he cares, he'll do the right thing. Elon Musk put up, Cuban seriously looks like a butch lesbian. And then he followed it up with this one here. A butch lesbian. And then somebody posted this. Wait a sec. Come on now. Alex said, always difficult to tell who is who when these two are on together. And Elon Musk said, they are the same picture. Oh, here's that guy. I didn't get to play this the other day. This is a guy that owns a coffee shop. You talk about somebody making bad choices. Because it's gone around like wildfire. Apparently, there was a group meeting in his coffee shop that were going to discuss how to people not to end their children's lives through abhor and then shun, right? And they weren't rowdy. They didn't make a big deal out of it. They weren't carrying signs. They weren't hollering at customers. They weren't doing anything. But then somebody came up to this coffee shop owner and told him, hey, those people are against Roe v. Wade. And he threw him out. He threw him out. And here he is defending what he did.
I said everybody is welcome, but I said I don't want this group meeting here. It's like if the KKK asked to meet here, I would say no.
So you think pro-lifers are like the KKK? Is that what you're saying?
In my world, it's the same. It's the same sort of concept.
That is so beyond par. Pro-lifers, those who advocate for the dignity of every human life, even children in the womb. You're saying we're like the KKK.
I've made my point clear. I asked you guys not to meet.
Comparing them to the Triple K, right? The Triple K. See how long he's in business. Anyway, I went out to some older posts from that, from tonight's post. But anyway, let's get back. I got to get back up to where I was. So anyway, yeah, Miss Minister put it in booms because I put in a link to buy me a coffee. And I appreciate everybody who went by. Robin Wayne this week, starting out the week. I do appreciate it. Where's my booms? Ha ha ha. God, boom. So, man, my booms are slow. They won't fire up. Ha ha. Well, come on, boom. Come up and boom. There we go. Pow! Right on her head. Boom! Right in her face. But anyway, Robin and Wayne helped out this week for Buy Me a Coffee. I put a link in the chat, boom, about 5 minutes ago. If anybody wants to go by and check the page out. And I appreciate everybody who helped out last week, along with Roland, Miss Menderser, kaboom, kaboom, Hebrew Hammer, Younger Gang. And it really helps the channel. It's a totally viewer-supported channel. I'm not monetized on YouTube. Now, I promise you all, I didn't promise, but I said I had a clip of Candace Owen talking about this woman that ended the lives of her children, right? And I said, well, I'm not crazy about playing it, but I got it. Mental illness. We got some mental illness going on. And I'm wondering about some of these people. Candace Owens, Tucker Carlson, now Alex Jones, and on, that used to be Republican. Is it a counter-op? I mean, or have somebody spiked their water? I don't know. But here she is talking about this woman that is on trial right now. And her attorneys admit that she did what she did, strangled her children. And this is Candace Owens saying, here's my thoughts on it.
I made my thoughts clear on this the moment that she was arrested, the moment that it made the news. Lindsay Clancy is obviously not guilty. There are a fleet of doctors who should be imprisoned for what they put her on. I regularly speak out against Big Pharma. They get away with murder all the time. And in this case, they are getting away with the murder of really her 3 children, but also completely destroyed her life. Lindsay Clancy, in my opinion, is not guilty. She was put into an intentional psychosis when she probably just needed to give her kids away for a weekend to get better, but they constantly give you these drugs that do not make things better. And the cocktail of 10 absolute madness.
You know, if they could come up with drugs that would create a mental condition where you didn't know right from wrong, but were functional enough to end people's lives, you know how many times that would be used and taken advantage of? So, it's the medicine. It's the so-called medicine that makes you become vicious and end your children's lives. Okay, it's the medicine. I'm not saying that, you know, doctors shouldn't be held accountable for over medicating and doing. You can be depressed. You can, but hey, to claim that this person was put into what a robotic mode of some sort of hypnotic mode where they overrode their sense of right and wrong. I don't think so. Look at this little fella here. Kids hearing their mom says she supports Lindsay Clancy. No, she should never be able to be out in the public. And this, what was her name that drowned her 3 kids? She's coming up for parole. I forget her name. Susan Smith. No, she doesn't need to be. She doesn't need to be out either. The mental condition. Would you? I would say that from the time period when they started handing out Obama phones, I've talked about in the past, this mass delusion and culture of death has expanded exponentially. People listening to the most insane garbage, giving your kids a device that any pervert can access your children any hour of the day or night. You think that was by accident? But here's somebody we've been talking about for a while. Hassan Piker. And I mentioned it, what the things he said on a platform designed for kids called Twitch. He's a millionaire. They get 6 figures a month for sitting there, and what he talks about is unbelievable. And people are like, well, he's got freedom of speech. How do you shut him up? Well, when you say that you can go out and SHOT a sitting senator, he can be charged with that. He can be charged with any number of things. Playing terrorist propaganda on his channel. And Twitch didn't do anything about it. Laughing at the coffins of infants that were given back to the Israelis after October 7th. Making fun of them. Infants inside coffins, if you know what I'm saying. He was calling for violence in the streets against business people. He calls them capitalists. Okay? I'm not going to say that. I'm going to call business people. He said to let their BLOOD run in the streets to KILL them all. He proclaimed that. I heard him. People should be in jail for that kind of stuff. But here he is making fun of Charlie Kirk.
Unafraid to die.
So, yeah. Let him walk around free. I think he's one screw up away. I think he's one screw up away. I've seen so many videos. He's done. He's finished. This and that. And he's always walking free. But I think he's one screw up away. Here you go. Think about it. How many years ago? Not many. Full term. Next, you'll be defending ending the lives of toddlers. Literally, nobody would say that. Yeah? It's the medicine. It's the doctors. What's this one? Truth Bomb Mom. Maybe we need to remind New Yorkers that Venezuela went from third richest country in 1992 to eating zoo animals because of socialism. Don't forget Hassan Piker, the one I just played. He's a full blown man. He'll tell you he's a socialist, commie to the bone. Here, did you all get to see that Grand Prix race? Yeah, they are destroying that. Well, they're trying to, Those people, their hearts are hardened, their brains are poisoned. Haha, that's right, Sparky. Yeah, she was on some medicine. Where's that post Trump put up? I'm going to play some of the Grand Prix stuff, but Tucker Carlson just met with lightweight former Congressman Thomas Massie and Marjorie Taylor Greene. Losers all. Tucker views have fallen through the floor and will only get worse. Nobody cares about him any longer in that he has become totally irrelevant. And this happens to be, surprisingly, a very low IQ individual. He could barely get out of college. And maybe he didn't. But only really dumb people can't make it through that wonderful 4-year time in life. Tucker wants to run for political office, but he should be required to take a cognitive test. He's got no chance, but could probably take a couple of points away from whatever the Republican ticket happens to be. Tucker is a loser and always has been. Marjorie Taylor Greene turns a young woman, went from ultra weeks because I refused to return her phone calls. Not because I didn't like her, just because I had no time. She was way down in the polls in Georgia because I took away my endorsement and would have no chance at winning. So she, just like everyone else, quit. Thomas Massie has turned out to be a failed politician and a real jerk. No matter how good, strong, or proper the legislation would be. What a team this would be. 3 losers and a pocket full of change. The only chance they have is to join the radical left Democrats and try breaking into the primary system. To all of them, I say, praise be to Allah, President Donald J. Trump. He's on a praise be to Allah tear, isn't he? I don't know what to make of it. I'm wondering, like I said earlier, if some of this isn't a counter-op. Remember when the one senator wouldn't vote yes on something, I forget what it was, but Trump said, Oh, I can't blame him. If I were him and lost my seat in the Senate, I'd do the same thing. I'd be voting no all the time. Psychologically, he was telling this guy, you're telling people I'm bad, but you're behaving just like I would behave. And it was like the next day he changed his vote. So are these people like Alex Jones? Is he espousing some points on the left to make lefties go? Is he going against Trump to make lefties say, you mean I'm on the same team as Alex Jones? So they'll revisit their thinking. I don't know. Let me see what this is. Jazzy Crockett. There's no excitement for Talakero in the black community. I don't know if I got that posted or not. Let me see. What's this one? Investing in California. Oh, this is, I don't need Jasmine Crockett to tell me that, but this is Gavin Newsom. He's telling people to open up a Trump account for their kids.
I'm enthusiastic about encouraging people to get a Trump account. I think it's incredibly important. It's one of the best things he's done. It's one of the best things Ted Cruz has done. It's one of the best things Cory Booker has done. That we're out there promoting. It's one of the best things Micron has done. It's one of the best things those folks that cannot be named that made those private contributions have done. It's direct, it's tangible, it's results oriented, it's not lost in bureaucracy. You can see it, taste it, feel it. You're making a difference directly to the next generation. You're giving them hope. And so we're here to encourage people to take advantage of this, to not fall prey to the politics or the cynicism or maybe even the fear that if I download a Trump account, somehow that means something. It doesn't. It just means something for your kid. It's not Trump's money. It's your child's money. I want to encourage everybody out there to take advantage of this program.
And you talk about some tepid clapping. I mean, they're just barely clapping. You know, here you have billionaires, so-called billionaires, that are putting their own money into millions of Trump accounts, hundreds of thousands certainly, and they're not happy about that because they don't want future American citizens to have their own money to make their own decisions. They want to make all the decisions. I don't know what this report is. Let's see.
Welcome back into Live Now from Fox. My name is...
Let me play this. Let's see what this is.
Is Alexandra Goldberg, and we're getting breaking details in the trade war between the United States and Canada. Take a look here at Michelle Price from the AP saying United States set to slap 50% tariffs on $20 billion in Canadian imports as historic allies can't reach last-ditch deal. The United States has imposed 50% tariffs on the $20 billion worth of Canadian products early Saturday morning after these last-ditch negotiations failed to resolve the latest strain and already tense relations between the historic allies. The Associated Press reports that President Donald Trump's import taxes will hit about 5% of what Canada ships to the United States every year, including products ranging from hockey sticks to tongue depressors. I want to put this tweet on your screen here. U.S. Trade Representative Jamieson Greer said, quote, Canada declined to earlier this week, despite the U.S. offer to Canada to receive the best treatment of any major exporter to our market, new demands and walkbacks of other commitments by Canada have upended the careful balance reached in the past days. In addition, Canada is continuing to maintain its prolonged retaliation against the United States, including, among other things, flat-out prohibitions on certain American goods and services. Again, this statement here coming from the U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer. But Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney responded, putting this statement on your screen as well, saying, "I've decided to suspend trade negotiations with the U.S. and have directed Canada's negotiators to return to Ottawa. At midnight tonight, the U.S. intends to impose a 50% tariff on roughly $28 billion of Canadian goods. Canada will match those tariffs dollar for dollar to protect our workers and businesses." This statement coming in from the Canadian PM. And if you'll remember here, the tariffs were initially supposed to kick in at 12:01 a.m. on Wednesday. But the president extended the deadline for 3 days to allow talks to continue. But the two countries still could not reach an agreement in time. This is the latest reporting we have on the battle of tariffs between the U.S. moments ago. We'll keep you updated as this story continues to develop.
Well, Carney, if it's a tax on American citizens for Trump to put tariffs on, why are you putting tariffs retaliatory? You want to tax your people? Is that what you're, I mean, make some sense. Make some sense. Let me see here. What is this? Trump posted this. Let me see. "We've escorted over 1,000 ships through the Strait of Hormuz," Mark Thiessen said. Yeah, I'm going to play this clip. Trump posted this clip. Because, hey, they say the soft spot is the economy for Trump. And however people feel their wallets are in good shape, bad shape, whatever, is going to make the difference. Here I checked before I went live. I pulled this screenshot up. Even with the issues with Canada, even though the media claimed that 5 ships got targeted, which I haven't heard much more about that. It's probably false reports, could be, that it never happened. But, how much we trust the media, you see it as a downward slide in the oil prices. So, anyway, Trump posted this video, so we will see what they have to say.
Now, so obviously, when a lot of people are feeling economic pain right now, but you've seen a drop in crime, you've seen a drop in inflation numbers, you've seen a border that has been closed, but that doesn't necessarily mean that people going to the polls feel all of that.
No, that's exactly right. But I mean, think about this. Think back to the 22 midterms when Joe Biden, we had just had the Afghan withdrawal, the worst foreign policy debacle in our lifetime. We had the worst inflation in 4 decades, worst crime wave since the 1990s, the worst border crisis in American history. And he put in one of the best midterm performances of any president since JFK. Sure. So those things. What matters really is candidate quality. And so you think about the Senate, right? The Democrats need to gain a net of 4 Senate seats in order to take back the Senate, and they have to hold on to Michigan, which is a blue seat. It's an open seat, but it's their seat. What do? They nominate a Islamic radical socialist who hates football in Michigan, right? Yeah. They have to beat Susan Collins. So what do? They find Graham Plattner guy with a Nazi tattoo, and then they replace him with a guy who came in 3rd in the gubernatorial race and has children with his cousin. So candidate quality matters a lot. Now the bad news for Republicans is if you look at the toss-up states, what are they? Alaska, Ohio, Iowa, with North Carolina leaning down. So seats that used to be solidly red are in play this time around. Texas is a toss-up. That's insane. So a lot, it could go any way, any direction.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. Candidates, that absolutely matters, and I see that. I think Vance's message is very good in that, although as Charlie said, people are feeling the economic pain, and I was just in the Midwest, spent a lot of time this summer in Wisconsin, and people are upset. War were interesting. Their comments were wrap it up. I kept hearing that everywhere I went. He needs to wrap it up.
Yeah.
So my question to you is, do you think it could wrap up before midterms? And what would that do to the midterms? Because as we pointed out here, everything else is going great.
I'm a big advocate of wrapping it up, and wrapping it up with a final hurrah that would really set this regime back a decade. Look, what Donald Trump did in Iran is one of the most important foreign policy decisions any American president has made in my lifetime. That regime has been at war with us for 47 years. He's the first president who fought back. But the problem is we stopped at the 20-yard line in April, right? We still had about 14 days of bombing that we had to do to take out their capabilities. And so what that means is it left them with the capability to hit Gulf oil infrastructure. It left them with the capability to hit American troops in the region. And what I'm really worried about is not just that the war's not wrapped up, but that there could be an October surprise.
And you write about that.
Yes, I read a column in the Washington Post about that, that the Iranians know the midterms are coming up. And they may want to affect the midterms by raising the price of oil, by attacking Gulf oil infrastructure right before the midterm vote, causing some sort of chaos, forcing the president to go back to combat by killing some Americans right before the midterms. When what we should do, I think, honestly, is go back and just finish this thing, declare victory, and end it, and which we can do.
So what does that look
like? What that looks like.
Is that why Trump posted this? He posted this whole video because he might go in and hit him hard. Now, remember, or maybe you weren't here, but at the beginning of the broadcast, I mentioned that Pakistan is sending a top delegation to Tehran tonight to have talks with them, which they said they were not going to do. Now they are. So anyway, I just found it interesting that he is advocating for finishing them off now. And I don't know.
Looks like is finishing the last 14 days of the bombing campaign that was planned, hitting their economic infrastructure hard, taking out, we destroyed 85% of their defense industrial base, destroy 99% of it. They've got the plans on the table. Admiral Cooper has them. You execute that, and then you'd stop. You say major combat is over.
Stop at the 20-yard line?
Because I think he thought that we could get a deal, and it was suggested to him that a deal was possible. And President Trump always wants a deal rather than combat and killing people, and so that's an admirable quality about him. And then what happened is we got into this cul-de-sac of negotiations, followed by Iranian violations, followed by America having to retaliate, followed by more negotiations, and we've been stuck in this since April. And this could have been done in April. I mean, the major combat could have been finished.
What would you say, Mark, to people who said, Midnight Hammer, I thought we did it in Midnight Hammer. Why did we go in when we know that you talked earlier during the break, you said the threshold for pain in Iran is very high.
Yes.
But we kind of knew that before, right?
Yeah, so Midnight Hammer was enormously important.
Yeah.
But what the Iranians were doing is they responded to Midnight Hammer not by saying, okay, this president's going to stop us from getting a nuclear weapon. They went on a barrage of building missiles, which what their plan was to have a large enough missile capability that they could overwhelm any defenses that the U.S. had of its troops in the region or Israel had of its country, and then they'd have a shield behind which they could rebuild their nuclear program. And President Trump saw that, and he had to stop them from
I think just to add to what you're talking about, which is so smart and so insightful, is that we are looking at the administration unleashing an economic strangulation on Iran that has never before been seen. And the president mentioned that because it would cut off all energy transactions and financial dealings with all of the Gulf states. And that would be an economic impact that we would see certainly before the midterms. If that's coupled with an October surprise, does that settle this?
So I think what the president is doing economically, it's been dubbed Operation Economic Fury, is one of the most effective military. So the Iranians are selling zero oil. right now. And by the way, Admiral Cooper, the CENTCOM, we've escorted 1,000 ships through the Strait of Hormuz. Not many people know that number. It's like 20 a day right now. We're sending about $10 billion of barrels of oil a day, million barrels of oil a day. 1,000 ships have gone through the Strait. The Iranians do not control the Strait of Hormuz. We control the Strait of Hormuz. So if you finish the military campaign and take that off the table, we're done. Open the Strait, keep the blockade on. The Iranian regime will eventually collapse.
But you can't predict if that escalates things. So that's a little bit, but we'll see what happens. I mean, I think people said wrap it up. So
thanks for being here.
Thank you, Mark.
All right, with us.
Thank you.
50.
I noticed him say Operation Economic Fury was a significant military operation. And that brings me back to Soros crashing our stock market on purpose. Okay, economic warfare. And Scott Bessent talking about that. Where'd everybody go? I don't know. But anyway, well, people must be going to bed. I don't know. But yeah, I want to get into what's going on in Ukrizzle and Ruski land. But I didn't even get to play any clips of the Indy stuff. Here's Trump taking a beast on a lap. And him and Melania, I got him and Melania waving a flag, the starting flag. But anyway, here he is in the beast.
Live look at the beast. You heard the president talking about his plans. He will be in a special location, of course, watching this race along with us after greeting the drivers. The motorcade. Elio, if you had to drive the beast, I wonder with those, I guess those guys, I don't know how fast they have to go. In the movies, we see them like, tearing
doing everything right.
Yeah.
So I think it's a little bit heavy, in terms of how fast you want to go. But no question. Well, Danica knows more about the beast because you said there was some story that they're armored and they have all this.
Well, I've ridden
things.
with Secret Service detail from. I'm friends with a few people in D.C. And I was asking the drivers about Secret Service, about their experience, if they get special training, if the car is souped up, is it extra fast? And essentially, the car is really just heavier and safer, but when they try and add horsepower and do those things to it, it kind of makes other things fail. But as drivers, really, their protection as Secret Service is that the car is bulletproof and hard to beat.
In Brazil, believe it or not, because of the safety down there, most of the people have bulletproof cars. I mean, it's sad.
Do you have a bulletproof car?
I have a bulletproof car, yes.
Wow, you have that many enemies, huh? They're going about, what, I don't know, 50 miles per hour here. They're going to take about 7 laps. We saw, though, has a car culture quite like ours.
Yeah, I see you back, Cole. Yeah. I was just having fluctuations like 40, 50 people disappear all of a sudden. Then they come back in all of a sudden. I don't know if it's something going on in the, what it is. I don't know. But anyway, usually you don't see that. But anyway, one thing while I was reading about the situation with Canada, I couldn't help but have pop in my mind about stuff I talked about, the cost of defending Canada, the Golden Dome, Trump's comments on they want to be treated like a state but not be a state. And also, I thought to myself, how many of you all remember those winter military exercises that were canceled, that Canada had scheduled? And they admitted that they had at least, I believe the number was in excess of 20,000, or what number do you remember, that were already in country winter military exercises in Canada, and it was canceled. Man, stuff like that pops in my mind. And the Soros action of crashing our stock market, economic warfare. So is this a form of economic warfare with Canada and the elements that would actually schedule a military operation with Chinese troops right on our border? Who's this? Nancy Kissinger. Remember I showed a picture of Henry Kissinger beside her? She looked like something out of the Addams family. But anyway, wife of Henry Kissinger dies at 92. Remember, Henry Kissinger passed away not too long ago. He lived to be over 100. Philanthropist Nancy Kissinger, one-time foreign policy researcher and wife of former Secretary of State Henry Kissinger, has died. The dude. She's like, she's over 6 feet. I mean, not the most, yeah, okay. I don't know, whatever. But we'll have our discussions about Mr. Kissinger. He was Secretary of State, which the role of Marco Rubio, right? When they started this birthright citizenship with illegal aliens. And we always wondered, how did this guy with this thick accent end up actually being acting vice president for a period of time? I've talked about that in the past. And how he was on the board in the Pentagon well into his late 90s. And Donald Trump removed him and removed his security clearance. And then the Biden administration put him back on with the Pentagon. He's a Soros acolyte, or was a Soros acolyte. But anyway, so there's a lot of stuff going on that we perceive to be in realm of everyday civilian life, like with business agreements with countries and tariffs. But a lot of it might be warfare. Warfare, but not said out loud, okay? Not openly said. So that being said, here is Scott Bessent. The end of this video tells you all you need to know, all right? What we're doing with Iran, okay? So you take, or not you, but our adversaries listens to that video that I just played that Trump posted in its entirety of 6 minutes about maybe he needs to go in and finish the job, and also what Scott Bessent is saying right now about Iran, because he's the one spearheading this economic warfare with Iran, okay? So anyway, folks, I should be going live tomorrow, right? So if you're subscribed, you'll know I'm subscribed. And I hope you did like the video. To buy me a coffee in the chats. If anybody wants to check the page out or help support the channel, it's greatly appreciated. But enjoy this video about Scott Bessent, and that features Scott Bessent. And what do I always say? I say, thank you for spending your precious time with me. And we'll get together tomorrow. It might be a little bit earlier. We shall see. But wonderful evening, and I'll be seeing you soon. This is Mountain Man, over and out.
economic pressure means that we are going to all of our allies, and this is going to be the greatest coordinated economic isolation in the history of the world. If we are doing the maximum economic pressure, then that means that likely there will not be a large-scale kinetic restart. We are going to collapse this regime.
Iran is, of course, already promising a devastating response, but their leaders are growing concerned about the economic catastrophe in the country. Meanwhile, the U.S. has been working to thwart Iran.